Hello and good afternoon, Speed Gaming 2. Welcome to more Link to the Past Randomizer Invitational League Season 7. Today, we've got a race. I believe this is the second race between a Deadrock, You Like a Byrnacane, and the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. We got Sawyer and only Jeff for Byrnacane with Teto and Raylan for the Huhnerhorde. Looks like I might need to do a little bit of a recrop on Teto's side there, but shouldn't be too much of a problem to fix and make sure we're all set. But our runners will be off momentarily. Yeah, we got some common starts here. We got Teto and Jeff going up towards the Uncle, getting that tier 1. Meanwhile, Sawyer and Raylan heading towards the Lumberjack to check out everything there. I will adjust some audio as well, so if the game audio is a little quiet, let me know, and we'll try to make sure you guys can listen to some great Octopath Traveler MSU. And just get a little bit of a sinkage action going here. But yeah, this is a duality. It's the last day of duality week here in the Link to the Past Randomizer League. If you missed the rest of duality week, sorry. You missed a really fun mode. Duality is a 1-5 fast Ganon, where one player must kill Ganon on that with 5 crystals, while the other player must go and pull the pedestal. It's a full key sanity mode, but the GT big key does not exist, so we will not be seeing the GT climb. We could still see Aga Tower as the Lumberjack can have stuff. So we'll see what happens. We do have Sawyer in the CAC well. Unfortunately, no bombs on his side. But does get the Hyrule Castle small key, so with that Fire Rod, we have early access to Dark Cross. And you see Raylan has a little bit of a different approach here to saying, I didn't get bombs in Lost Woods or my tier pulls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save and quit. And he came in from the south to make sure he at least got a couple of bombs before getting here. It's a really safe strat in this kind of situation. Now, what I think that does mean is, like, if I'm Sawyer, I'm probably not going to buy bombs and come back for the tops. I might leave that to Jeff to kind of clean up. Unfortunately, I think, yeah, Sawyer, unfortunately, is low on money to even buy bombs right now. So really not a great situation at all. But that is the lamp for Jeff at the dam. So the Dark Cross and the Back of Escape are completely in logic right now, even regardless of, you know, the fact that advanced logic's a thing. My only concern here is Sawyer's heading for escape now without bombs as well. Wants the sword, I like it, but bombs are at a premium right now. Looks like Teto did get a bomb at one point, so we'll be able to work through this front of escape. A little annoying on 1 heart now. Does get the Dark Cross, but is out of there. No small key on their side, so Raylan will have to come in and clear the rest of that out. And we might be getting a Houlihan from Jeff here. Only Jeff is heading towards the normal spot to do a Houlihan, because, yeah, money's low, bombs are low. We just don't have resources right now. I get it. And Sawyer really heads up there. I think he's noticed that, maybe he could get the resources. Unfortunately, did not get the drops, it looks like. But is heading back up again. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I like trying to get to the back here. I think my problem is like, you don't have a bomb still, and this feels a little like extreme trying to do this twice. I mean, it's one thing without the key. The problem is he doesn't have a bomb. Meanwhile, over on the Huhnerhorde side, we did get to see a some mini Moldorm cave. Looks like Teto did find a glove. Teto with his very custom tracker of the drawn sprites. Always love it. A good fun time. So yeah, that's really unfortunate for Deadrock. What I will say is that glove does mean there's an easier route to it. By dropping in, it's just a lot of extra time spent by Sawyer to try to get something that just didn't work out. Ice Rod Cave, nothing for Teto, though. Raylan does get that glove, is going to double back here, and looks like he's headed for Agina and his lamp at the dam. So we do get another Houlihan strat over on Sawyer's side. Money has just not been a thing, really. Like, you've got Teto and Raylan were able to pull together enough with grabbing some bombs, which is good, but other than that, not a whole lot doing right now. Only Jeff heading towards the... Looks like he's going to go for some fake flipper in. Remembers he does not have real flippers. And we see that Desert Palace is our green pendant, so We will see Land Molus today. Somebody will have to beat Landmo. Gonna see our man under the bridge on Only Jeff's side. We'll see if this pays out. Logically, we're running out of checks. I'm surprised neither Tedo nor Raylan has been to Back of Escape. I thought maybe after Tedo finished up getting that glove, he might have went into that play, but decided not to. Only had one bomb, it looks like, so decided to spend it at Saha instead. But here we go. We're about to get a Gina as Only Jeff is heading towards the Back of Escape play, so we'll finally get to see these 3 checks. Just a Compass, though, at a Gina. Sawyer heading into Eastern to join Tedo, so we'll start seeing some plays here. There are 4 logical checks in Eastern Palace at this point, so I like the play. We're kind of running out. Though, let's see what that Back of Escape holds. We get a small key to GT, a map to Hyrule Castle, and $20. So it looks like Eastern is the play. Something is likely here. I'm going to guess a hook shot. That or it's up the mountain. Like, maybe there's something on Old Man or Inspec Rock, but I feel like we're about to get like a hook shot or a mirror to open up a little bit more. That was a tree pull on Raylan's side for, looked like 20s, so there's some money available in some of the tree pulls as well today. The biggest thing you missed in the first 10 minutes is like a sword and a glove and a lamp. Desert Palace's green pendant. Other than that, not too much yet. Another 20 there in the Stalfos chest of Eastern Palace. So, down to the vanilla big key chest, but that is a Titan's Mitts on the Old Man. So we are a Moon Pearl short. Oh, we did have the big key to Eastern. My bad. Oh yeah, we got a fire rod, but you know, eh. Right now, we're just trying to get Dark World access. Like, you're not going to get too much dungeon-wise necessarily in the first little bit. That was a coin inside of Spec Rock, so Raylan will pick that up. But yeah, this is getting a little worrisome. Like, is this Zora required? Yeah, that is a Bombos medallion. No, there we go. There's our access to the rest of the mountains. So, hookshot inside of Eastern, big key chest with Titan's Mitts on the mountain. So, the big play here is we need to see, like, it's going to be probably East Death Mountain for the Pearl. There's still a chance for Zora, but without any money, Zora is really not looking great. So yeah, Tedo and Raylan swapping places. Honestly, I think Tedo waits a little bit to pick up that Bombos medallion. We are getting a check of the stun prize, just arrows. Always like to know what our stun prize is. Really heads up. But yeah, I think for Tedo, you go up there, you skip out on Bombos for the moment, get the checks that you need. Maybe we'll need Bombos later, but you got a fire rod, so it's not huge. Sawyer, meanwhile, going to get his glove. If you have interest in helping out for the league at all, then I would recommend that's supposed to be a command. Rip to the bot. So what I would say is join the league Discord. We have roles for commentators and trackers and all that kind of stuff, and we'd love to have more people help. So obviously, if you're a bit new to commentary, we'd try to pair you with somebody who's a little bit more experienced at first. I'll say I've been doing this for a few years. But yeah, we'd love to have more help. There's a bow in Paradox 2, so that opens up the Armos Knights. I mean, if we count the fact that I started in like 2020, and 2020 was how many years? Maybe it's been longer. But we do have a mirror. Yeah, so that's going to be a good check. That gives us some Hera access. We'll see how Tedo wants to play this. So right now, the Hyrule Huhnerhorde is just a little bit ahead based on ability to kind of get to stuff a little bit faster. But yeah, so as I said, this is part of week 3 of the league. Tomorrow we're going to start up week 4. This is game 2 between Deadrock, You Like a Byrnacane, and the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. Huhnerhorde took game 1. So Byrnacane looking to get a win today. Both teams, you know, working through the early parts of this season. Huhnerhorde currently in second place in the Kakariko division with a 3-2 record. Division leader is the Sticky Priest at 4-2. Deadrock, You Like a Byrnacane, currently at 1-4, but clearly not out of it. We still have a long way to go this season and some very interesting modes coming up the rest of the way. As I said, tomorrow we'll start in Fluky's week this season, and that'll be another one of our solo modes. And I must have missed it, but we do have a Pearl. Oh, that was in Para 5. Okay, yeah, this is great. We'll see this. Realistically, Tedo could walk over to GT. Can't do too much with it without a crystal to get in, but will be able to knock out Hera and possibly make his way into Ganon's tower. So we could very quickly see some additional plays in there. First up, we do get Hookshot Cave. And arrows. A small key to Ice Palace. Some money, appreciated. And more arrows. So not a whole lot in our Hookshot Cave for today. But Tedo's going to make it, going to give us the information about our TR medallion. That is Ether for TR. So not the medallion we have found previously. And then we're going to cross this bridge. Going to be a little scary as always, but those Lionels will hit like a truck. And Tedo is just going to leave his portal, focusing more on just getting into Tower of Hera. Like, if this is a crystal, then I guess he picks the portal back up to get into GT at least for a couple of checks. But if not, probably, you know, won't be hurt by it. Raylan, meanwhile, is into the Skull Woods area. Got a piece of heart on the map chest up there in the front, but is probably looking to just, you know, go after the Moth. Has half magic. This isn't going to be terrible of a fight. Master Sword Fire Rod is a pretty good fight. Tedo did, of course, get that second sword, which helps. We do get a GT small key in the map chest of Hera. And there's a big key to Tower of Hera, so Hera is in logic now as a clear. So there could be something in GT if this is one of our crystals. Yeah, the unfortunate part here is the early resource troubles on Byrnacane's side has really put them behind a little bit. Jeff having to be a little bit careful here. Deadrocks and boulders really kind of messing him up there. Oh yeah, Raylan does have that marked as a pendant. Interesting. And that is a rough death over on Jeff's side. He needs to get over to that side of the mountain right now, so... And that is a pendant. So this could be, you know, Teto saying, you know, I might be confirmed or committing to being the pendant player tonight. Picking up that big money on top of Spec Rock and then just going to go get Bombos from inside. So gonna unfortunately have to leave GT alone for the moment. Raylan have a little bit of trouble with that, the mummy enemy there. Gonna pick up another little piece of magic there. So has about half a bar of a fire rod here to go, as well as the fighter sword. So not a gimme fight, but not terrible. Although that is not good. Oh god. A little scary. Fight. Oof. Rough death there for Raylan. I thought Floating Island was dead. I'm guessing Sawyer forgot to scout it, unfortunately, when he came out of Paradox Cave at the top. So gonna waste a little bit of time here. Yeah, Raylan gonna work his way through this, getting as much magic as possible. There's 4 magic pots in the front. It's just a lot of extra lost time here for the Huhnerhorde. Like there's two magic pots in this room, and then there's 2 more in the next room. So it can get a full bar. It's just a lot of time. Meanwhile, Sawyer is in Tahara as well, going to get that pendant. Unfortunately, just a map off of the sick kid. For Thieves Town, at least we get some info out of it. Round 2 of Raylan versus the Moth. Trying to keep some distance. Lots of shots going off, but unfortunately, like, a lot of them just feel to be into the spikes. So that's always kind of your issue with this fight. And Moth to Raylan 0 today. Oof. That's a rough start. Meanwhile, Teto into Thieves Town, we do see that that's a pendant Thieves. That's map info, folks. We got a pendant Hera, pendant Thieves, and a pendant Desert. So everything else is crystals. I will say, like, I think at this point it's a bit of a pride thing. Like, as somebody who's in Invitational League themselves, like, if I get up to that fight with 6 hearts, Fire Rod, and half magic, like, I can see why Raylan might be rushing this fight. Is like, I should be able to handle this. Like, there's a personal annoyance of, like, I need to beat them off. We did get a small key to Castle Tower, as well as a small key, I believe, to Thieves. Yeah, we got a Thieves Small as well there in the front of Thieves Town, so. But round 3 between Raylan and the Moth. Let's see what we get this time. Good start so far. Good spin, good cooperation of the Moth. There we go. Third time's the charm. Raylan taking down Mothula just to get some money. Not too much, but a crystal nonetheless. And yeah, Tedo found the flute. I missed specifically where, a lot going on right now. But going to give us a look at the Mire area and desert. And unfortunately, Jeff taking a death under the bridge. So going to have to go back for that item again. A little rough start across the board today. It happens. Have those days where it seems like every enemy just is out to get you, and it has been the case so far in this one, especially for Jeff and Raylan. Gonna see a little bit of the front of Desert Palace over on Tedo's side. We do have the Desert Small Key, so that is a couple of extra checks. Nice to know we can get that info. Now, for Jeff, he does have a little bit of extra firepower entering into the Moth fight here with the Master Sword. The only real worry for him is going to be that those sword beams are very unhelpful. So we'll see how he does with that. Really, really scary there at the end, but does get the kill on that one last heart in Oko territory. So very nicely done. Everybody breathe a good sigh of relief as Jeff takes down the Moth for his first crystal. Checkerboard cave incoming for Tedo, and that is just a compass, so we do not need it. And as it's been pointed out to me by Shin, looks like the flute was inside of Sea House. So this could be... Is Tedo heading to ice? Or... Okay, this looks like the man under the bridge, at least, to start. And some flipper check scouting. I'm surprised we haven't seen the rest of the loop from the Huhnerhorde yet. Like, I would probably have said for Tedo to kind of work around the hype cave before kind of following the flute stuff. Like, and I hope this doesn't mean we're going to see an early Ice Palace dip from them. Yes, the Moth is winning. Moth got 2 kills on Raylan. But I will say, like, realistically, Raylan is a bit ahead of Jeff. Unfortunately, Deadrock, you like a Byrnacane, had some early resource issues. We're lacking the money and bombs to really make effective first trips into Kakariko, which slowed them down, whereas the Huhnerhorde worked South Kak and the Grove to get some extra bombs. So it's really been up to their benefit up to this point. We do have map info, though. We know what our 3 pendants are in terms of Desert, Thieves, and Hera. So we do know our pendants, which Not a bad situation to be in. Oh, and we got a hammer, folks. So that's one very big piece of info and really starts moving us along on the rest of the seed. Meanwhile, Zora, our scamfish friend, just has some bombs. Splash elite incoming from Teto. Ooh, unfortunate there. Misses it, so gonna have to come back from it. The problem is that if Teto picked up the bombs, he would have been in the swim state and was looking to hopefully get a little bit closer to set up an easier splash deletion on the jump. So it's a tough call on his side and just unfortunately didn't work this time. But there is our second or our third known sword there on purple chest. So easy tempered today. Now, with that crystal on Raylan's side, he's going to head back up the mountain. He's aiming for a GT play here. Doesn't want to necessarily rush a crystal. I'm kind of surprised, like, maybe we could have done ice, but I know people are a little less, like, rush ice happy now. Always with the Cane of Samaria options for icebreakers, so going to wait at least logically to find flippers or the Cane of Samaria. Yeah, I'm a little like, it's rough. Like, I would have said, you know, you probably should have gotten the rest of your VOO checks before activating Flute and bailing on Teto's side, but it's not a huge deal. Like, Raylan coming in right behind after Skull helps. So not like a major time loss here for the Huhnerhorde. Eastern and Swamp are the 5/6s, though. K45 with our Thieves Town big key. So, I mean, if I'm Teto, like, we're looking great. Like, he's what? Just looking for a Desert Big Key? Yeah, Desert Big Key already for Pendant mode. And, like, for Raylan, that becomes, you know, the question of where can I get my crystals? Ice Palace is an easy crystal. We've got Eastern as well. So, like, not a whole lot missing for this to be a quick seed for the Huhnerhorde. Meanwhile, Hype Cave, there's our last sword on the NPC. Got a piece of heart. Heart container and a part piece. I will say that is very low hype. Not that you don't love getting a sword, but given our knowledge of swords at this point, not a huge deal. Teto's in great shape equipment-wise for the rest of the seed. He does not need to get another sword. And heads up play here for Raylan, getting that small key for GT before entering. You know, did want to get the big chest to give a little bit of information to Teto just because we hadn't seen that yet. But Raylan is able to also get a little bit more info to, you know, what's going on. So Teto's not going to rush the mountain at this rate. He'll continue to make some extra checks to see if he can find out what's going on and get the info of like, hey, where can I get Raylan's go mode? I think in terms of a crystal play, like Teto clearing out Eastern Palace makes a lot of sense. Those 5/6s have a little bit more value for our pendant runners just because we've seen some diabolical checks in the Pyramid Fairy. But for now, we're good. Yeah, and realistically, you only need one small key for GT in this mode. It helps a little bit, but it's not a massive boon. So we're not too bad. That second one is good, especially if you don't have Cane of Samaria when you enter GT, because like if you have one, you're perfect. If you have all the equipment, if you're lacking Samaria, then that second one makes sure you're good. So it's a situational thing. Gonna get to see this play up to the Catfish. Yeah, I mean, for Teto, like, he could do that. He's on a loop right now, just finishing up his checks. He wanted to, you know, work his way to Hype. So Hype up to Catfish and the Pyramid and Aga Tower is fine. But those are boots in the Fire Snake room. So we can go fast, and that's going to be really helpful for the Huhnerhorde, and that's Flippers. So that puts Ice Palace also on the table a little bit better. And as you're seeing, Teto, this could be Thieves Town. Meanwhile, Sawyer is in Thieves, so that's a good play. I'll be curious to see if we find anything to kind of push us further into this seed, or, you know, give some options for the Crystal players. Like, realistically, the Pendant players are much better situated in this race to finish up fast. If you've missed a duality this week, one quick note. Time for this race is not decided by average. It is instead based on second finisher. So, you know, first place could be miles ahead of everybody, but until both players are done for a team, it does not count as a win. That's a pod small behind Ice Armos, and that's it. Not much there today. So we are entering the blind fight. Neither player is going to gain the advantage of having boots for Thieves Town. Teto knows they exist. Just gonna finish it. Part of it is like Teto just doesn't have a crystal to even get in. Sawyer equipping the Cane of Byrna. Nice takedown of blinds, but nothing too major there in the Thieves Town. And yeah, this looks like it's going to be Pod Eastern for Sawyer. So this will give Sawyer a crystal. Like, this is good. Like, we haven't seen anything major out of GT. Like, a pod small's cool, but there's not a whole lot to work with. But the ability to get a little bit extra and getting a crystal for the inevitable GT play, you just have that feeling. You're like, I probably need to do that. We are picking up we picked up that CT small on rail inside. I did miss what that second chest in Aga Tower was. Unfortunately, I must have been seeing somebody else's checks because Raylan does want CT. I will say, like, from Sawyer's perspective, I think beating Eastern first might have been a little better. Just to see if maybe we could have gotten a second small. But it's 5 checks, it's fine. Like, we are running out a little bit in terms of logic. Oh, Swamp Small and CT2, thank you. So, realistically, what? Crystal Skull, Crystal Eastern, Crystal Ice, and Crystal Swamp. Like, we're a check away. Like, we're 2 things away from go mode here on the Huhnerhorde side. We need a desert big, and we need like a pod big, or Samaria and Mire access, like, and a Mire big. Like, we're hoping for probably the pod big to give us go mode. And yeah, Tedo's going to play for that, is going to say, hey, I'm going to get into Palace of Darkness here. I'm going to start, trying to make sure that you have info to try and get more done. And maybe better effectively spend your keys inside of Palace of Darkness. But that looks like it's it for Pod on Sawyer's side. Although I'm completely wrong, and Tedo is heading for Ice. Kind of just an info play. He's like, I've got 2 pendants. I'm in great shape. We need to kind of like just diversify our checks and see what we can find. That is a Mire small, though, in the bombable wall. We had gotten a pod small in the first chest of Swamp Palace. So we're headed to Aga Tower. We're going to get that information on our Swamp Small key. Good old dinner bell strats on Sawyer's side. Meanwhile, Jeff has those boots. Going to give us some boots checks. Or at least Graveyard Ledge, by the looks of it. I might have missed the rest of the boot checks. The fact that Sliver's in chat, though, lamenting not doing boots checks, I guess we have not seen the other boots checks. Now, Raylan is going to give a full clear here of the front of Swamp Palace. No real desire to have to double dip this dungeon if possible, so we're going to get to see left side first trip here. Sawyer, meanwhile, looks like Sawyer's going to follow Tedo. I will point out, as like from a routing perspective of these boots checks and Graveyard Ledge, for only Jeff, like the way I would look at that is hit up Graveyard, but in terms of King and Bonk, because you have a flute, it's easy enough to get back. So like, you don't have to worry about portal saving or jumping back into your Graveyard Ledge portal as hard. So that's the real time issue here. Another small key to Mire there in the Icebreaker chest, so nothing great in Ice yet. There's our silver arrows for Raylan. That's going to be nice for Ganon, but definitely not required. Another pod small. It is interesting for our top 2 runners here. Our pendant players at this rate are just saying, I don't really worry about the boots or the flippers. I'm going to make checks I can make, and hopefully, my partner finds their go mode and I can find my go mode without the footwear. Yeah, no, Tedo doesn't need those. He's fine. There's our cape out of Diver Down. There's the Quake medallion. Don't think we need Quake today, so not really helpful. Argus on Raylan's side, so that's going to be another crystal coming up. And very nice 4 fire or ice rod shots from Raylan to take down Argus there. Just $20 and another crystal. Meanwhile, Tedo just burns them all, or the Cold Stare Puffs. Very easy fight with half magic. And just a bottle with a B. So that's going to be roughly a go-modable Ice Palace on Raylan's side. And I missed it earlier, but there is something on the library. It is a Ether medallion. So yeah, that's important. Tedo's going to give a deeper look into Palace of Darkness, some extra checks available for him here, and probably hit up Eastern as Raylan's going to enter into Misery Mire. We're looking for some go mode for each player. Tedo and Sawyer need a Desert Big Key to finish up their last pendant. Meanwhile, Raylan and Only Jeff are going to need to be able to clear one more crystal. Pod Big would solve their problems. Samaria and Mire Big can solve some problems. And then TR is a ways away. Yeah, I mean, at this point, like, unless Tedo can get that Desert Big out of Pod, the back of Pod, like, there's a good chance our top 2 runners do need to go into GT and get the boots, at least for access into Mire. So there's a good chance that might come for both of them. Sawyer going with his Cold Stare fight. A little bit of a scary start there. Didn't get a great spin up to the left. That's usually the spot you want to spin Cold Stare. Makes it easier for you to get some splash shots on those Fire Rod. But just a little off and a little scary of a fight, but does take down Cold Stare. Whew. We're going to buy some upgrades here. Just upgrading the bombs, was all out of them at this point. That's a big key in Mire to Pod. That is go mode for Raylan. So Raylan can get 5 crystals now. He is set. The question is, where is that desert big key for the Huhnerhorde? So if Desert Big's here in Mire, then Teto will have to come back or have to go up the mountain and get those boots out of GT. Does have a crystal out of Ice Palace, so it is fine. But a little limited until, we get that piece. No big key for Mire, unfortunately, for Raylan, so no check there. Map. And that's a small key to Pod in the Rupee basement. So 1 extra check coming for Teto. He can choose either Harmless Hellway or the Vanilla Big Key chest. Gonna go with the Harmless Hellway. And that's the Red Cane. Okay. That does open up some checks. For Teto, that is amazing. That gives him a reason to go back up the mountain and check out the GT right side, as well as get those boots for potential Mire access. So huge find for Teto. But we still have that Dark Maze left here on the Pod side of the equation. Nothing at the bottom of the Dark Maze. At the top, we have a big key too. Ice. No! That's not the big key we wanted. And Raylan is in ice. So that's going to be a hard last locate for the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. Meanwhile, Deadrock, you like a Byrnacane. Only Jeff into Argus, well set up for this fight with equipment. Sawyer into Spike Cave. I don't believe we've seen this one yet, so definitely some new info coming for Byrnacane. But that's just a piece of heart in Spike Cave. So the big question, is something available for Teto on right side GT? Is that the location of our Desert Big? Jeff gets that crystal out of Swamp Palace. Very nicely done. Unfortunately for Byrnacane, Sawyer was into Pod a little earlier and did not have, only had 1 key, so only got those front 5. Going back to Pod is going to be a little bit on their side, I would assume, at this point. Although it looks like Jeff's on his way there, wants Eastern and Pod as some checks. Unfortunately, lacks the Pod Big out of Misery Mire. Teto just going to eat some damage here. He's not scared. As that 1 crystal can get in. Once again, that crystal out of Ice Palace. So, good timing. And heads up play from Only Jeff. Gonna knock out Eastern Palace first. Saying, I do need to beat Eastern. Maybe my Pod Big's in here. Let me just get more checks. Meanwhile, Raylan does grab that small key to Pod on the U room, or the Spike room, as it were, in Ice Palace. Wants some extra keys to make a couple of extra checks. Might also be thinking, hey, can I have Cane of Samaria? So, like, a 4-key Pod is definitely a little better for making those extra checks. Teto running around Tile Room, has a bee in there with him as well. It's pandemonium, folks. That's a big key in tile room 2, Swamp. All the big keys we don't want. All we want is a desert big, everybody. Ice and Swamp. I love it, folks. But let's see. We've still got the 4 checks in Compass Room to close out GT. If they're not here, if the Desert Big is not here in this room, expect to see Tedo go for his flippers and his boots. That's a small key, though, to Castle Tower. A big key to Meyer. And a small key to Turtle Rock, and another small key to Meyer. So yeah, Tedo does have to go left side. He needs those boots and flippers at this point. That's the big key to Desert on Armos. Folks, that's go mode. We know, we're in no mode. Our teams are just have to fill in the pieces. Jeff needs to get Jeff needs to get to Meyer to get the pod big. And somebody on Huhnerhorde needs to beat Armos. It's unfortunate. Like we had said, Tedo was in great shape to go take care of Armos Knights there and had not. Raylan will. The worry here is the fact that he's going to spend a bit more time. On the plus side, like Sawyer is kind of just following behind Tedo. But there's a clock running on this. Like there are things that like so Sawyer can't get right side GT though, so that won't give Byrnacane an alternate go mode. Like can't get that Meyer big key. So that won't tell Jeff, like, hey, you can beat Meyer. Like, what realistically will happen is Jeff probably gets his Cane of Samaria here and then is like, does he rush GT? Finds Meyer big, and then that's a go mode situation for them. So there's a time limit here for the Huhnerhorde. I think Raylan's enough ahead that we'll see like the play quickly enough. Tedo is going for that Ether Medallion though off of the library, and Sawyer is going for Eastern, so Sawyer's gonna get his go mode. Yeah, I mean, the two major plays for Byrnacane right now are Pod or Meyer. Or, like, not Pod or Meyer, like GT or Meyer. So whichever one they go to after clearing these two dungeons will give them go mode. That's really not the issue here. It's just, Raylan's first trip into Pod is a clear. So we'll see. And yeah, this makes a lot of sense for Tedo. It's saying I want TR. It's the best option. Like, there's not a whole lot of checks we can make here, but there's more than what is the alternative. So I like this play. I will say I think if I was Raylan here, I probably say let me handle Eastern first real quick. But gonna at least make the alternate check of the vanilla big key chest to see if maybe that can help Teto a little bit. Okay, is this going to be... No, we are still going to head to the back. Does want to get that Cane of Samaria and check out the pod big chest. But Sawyer takes down the Armos Knights, gets his big key to Desert, and Rill heads up here. Sawyer does not need to pick up that crystal off of the Armos Knights. He knows he's in go, so he can say goodbye and just head straight to Desert. This might be Pyramid Fairy for only Jeff. I do see the 5/6s lit up on his tracker, so this could be the 5/6 Pyramid Fairy play. And that's the thing, there's not a lot of incentive to go into either an unbeatable Misery Mire, an unbeatable Crystal Misery Mire, or go back up to GT for another trip. This is a lot of time. So, really unfortunate, as Raylan is in Eastern, is gonna give that info to Teto and say, yo, get to Eastern, buddy. Like, there's go. So, good spot for the Huhnerhorde. Could have been a little bit quicker, but I think Raylan's choices to clear out the rest of the pod made a lot of sense. So really good shape for them. Yeah, and there's the book and a shovel. That just puts Jeff on some really bad routes. Like, that is one of those things, is like, they're not bad in the moment. It's just this pulls him further away from the stuff that will help. Realistically, Sawyer would need to... Like, Sawyer needed to have that Ether Medallion to kind of maybe push him back or down into Mire. And Jeff needs a reason to want to go check out GT again. And there just isn't. That's the TR big key off of Landmo. Like, ugh. Luckily, like, we don't have the TR keys to make sense of it, but it's still gross. And there we go. Raylan has taken down Armos and can yell, "Come to Eastern! Kill the Knights!" So while Sawyer is in go mode, has all 3 pendants, can go rush and pull ped, it's just not, like, there's not much to do, as, Raylan is going to go kill Ganon. Raylan's got his 5 crystals, so this is just, like, Teto's going to be the second finisher for Huhnerhorde, at this pace. But currently Byrnacane not in go mode. Jeff making the plays that make sense. You pull a shovel, you pull a book, you're going to go make these calls. Follow your progression, hope that there's something there behind it. It was just we followed the wrong progression chain. A red rang on Bombo's tablet, love it. I will say, like, I think the hard part with this race is what really kind of hurt Byrnacane might have been the early game. I think they kept pace pretty decently throughout the rest of this race. Lots of really good, like, checks being made throughout. And it was really just them following the Huhnerhorde. But the unfortunate early game struggles of money and resources really kind of put them behind to start this one. We always need to find our best rang. Live your best life, folks, and make sure to get a red boomerang in it. Teto on to Armos, gonna get that Desert Big Key for Go mode momentarily as Raylan taking into phase 3, almost phase 4. That's Go mode for Teto. Also remembers, hey, I can mirror out of Eastern Palace and just go. Nice torch glitch there for Raylan. And there you go. There is the 4th silver arrow into Ganon. Get your G in chat for Raylan Tank here, as he will be our first finisher today for the Hyrule Huhnerhorde. Meanwhile, Teto heading to the back of Desert, gonna get Landmo and get his 3rd pendant and then go pull the ped. So there is the first finish. The race is not yet over, of course, until Teto pulls that pedestal. Yeah, great double to finish out that fight up top. That can be a very rough situation. But here over on the Byrnacane side, we are going to see Go mode shortly. The pod big is here in Mire, so that'll be a Go mode situation for Jeff as well. So not far off. As I said, I think this really comes down to a lot of the early resource woes for Byrnacane. You know, Sawyer having no money in Kakariko and no bombs was kind of a lot of extra time on that early stuff, and really just made things a little harder. But down goes Landmolus for Teto, and that will be pendant number 3. And of course, I'm gonna say, you know, I'm guessing we had a little bit of a chuckle there with that TR big key. Oh, we did not get to pull the pod big though. Unfortunate. And I think this is, you know, you see that finish from Raylan and you go, what did we miss? Like, I think that's kind of the situation you're in as a team, is you're saying, we're not in Go. They clearly know something we don't. And it's a rough spot. You know, you do what you can, and you're like, what are we missing? And so Sawyer gonna play for Skull Big Chest, thinking this could have been it. But get your GGs in chat for the Hyrule Huhnerhorde as Teto pulls the ped and finishes this race for both runners. That is a 105.04 for Raylan, a 107.22 for Teto, and that's it. That's gets that race solved. Pretty much right after that, only Jeff did decide to forfeit. Understandably, you know, still looking for something for Go mode. And it looks like Sawyer is at least going to go pull the ped on his end. So good GGs to all of our runners today. Let's see if we can get everybody in to talk. But yeah, pretty quick seed today. Only sub 70 across the board on this one. GG's to everybody. We'll see what happens. I do see a little bit of chat happening in the race room. Raylan saying that the pod big was the Mire cutscene. So unfortunate. Yeah, Sawyer mentioning that they were in Mire when the finish came through. So that kind of puts a little bit of a... I wonder if that kind of puts some thought into Byrnacane to say, don't do that check. But we are now joined by Raylan and Tedo. GG's, guys.
Hey, GG's.
So I gotta say, really great split across the board on these checks. Paid out very nicely today.
I think it's like a little bit of a gamble or of a luck-themed thing. It's like it could work out, but in the end, it was like, oh, if it's going back down to the last few spots and keys we have left, then this isn't looking that great. And I totally forgot where the Ice Big and Swamp Big and Maya Big and everything off Big keys I just found in the last minutes were. So I doubt that Ryan could have even backtracked those.
I think Maya Big was over in GT. That's
Yeah.
what I remember.
Yeah,
The
I
other
think
two,
two,
no
yeah.
idea. They would have.
Yeah, there was a chain of big keys that were just like, we don't want that one. We're looking for your last one.
Yeah, at some point I was like, I want to grab one crystal for maybe playing GT, as it looked like I'm going for the pendants. But yeah, it turned out that the pendants were our go mode. So at this point I was like, I'm going for ice then and get this this crystal, so I don't have to play plain Eastern for one item. And yeah, so we took a long chance before Ryan just got his 5th crystal. So oh yeah, here's the desert key. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was I was kind of like, maybe you should play for Eastern because it's a 5/6 and maybe it works out a little better. And then a little bit later, we see Jeff pull that Desert Big. We're like, maybe that would have worked out a little bit nicer. But Ice Palace was a good play on your end to at least get more info for Raylan.
Yeah, especially like he got the access for those like for Maya, as I never went into GT at this point. I was like, you can play those two, I will play those 2 dungeons, and this isn't awesome, but it's the best how we can split right now.
Yeah. We're also joined by only Jeff and Sawyer. GG's to you both.
GG's.
GG's.
Hey, GG's.
We were one big key away from finishing ourselves.
Yeah, I said towards the end of this one, I think the rough spot for your side was that early game resource management was just a rough go.
For everyone, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, for everyone, yeah.
What helped Huhnerhorde was you guys came into the south for CAC to get some bombs before getting to CAC. Unfortunately for Byrnacane, got into CAC with really nothing, and it just did not get better in Kakariko.
Yeah, that's the risk that you have to take if you go into Kisanity modes, especially like without resources. That's why I definitely, or like immediately 7 quid out of the woods after I didn't get anything. Like,
but even money management, it's like I could have bought bombs on my way to Eastern later. Of course I didn't, because I had 1. So yeah, and then you're going for play the mountain and be like, oh yeah, I got the 50-50 stones up there, so maybe I'm lucky. And I just grabbed those chances today.
Yeah, our early game was a little rough. The no bomb thing rattled me, and I went to Dark Cross, and then was like, oh wait, I have a small key. And then I realized, oh, I don't have bombs, but I still already saved and quit and went back. It was not the great start, but we started pulling it together near the mid game, and near the end we just couldn't find that big key.
Yeah, I would say if you watch this back, like mid game, what happened was that like Sawyer, you were following behind one member of Huhnerhorde, and Jeff, you were following behind a different member. Like it was just, you guys were just a little bit later to that portion of the mid game. That kind of put you in a rough go, and then like you were close at the end with that. You had the information of Desert Big Key first.
Oh yeah.
But the early Huhnerhorde did get that Samaria info pretty quick. Tedo into pod with enough keys to pull a lot.
Yeah,
Pretty lucky with that play. It was after Ice, like Ra is going to Maya. I will join Port. I got 2 keys from Ice and from Skull. So I was like, I'm going to save and quit and maybe save scum if it's needed. And then there is that one key in pod itself. And this just unlocks the Zomaru at this point. I was like, not going to save scum. So yeah, this was also a little bit rough on this side. So could have turned out pretty different way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did the pod play before I did Ice Palace, but that was definitely just going there on one key while I think Jeff was doing Swamp or whatever. It's just, I don't think that was. There was a couple of misplays on our side, but that's okay.
Shout out to dying 2 times to the moth, and it didn't matter.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of maybe I will go and current jump, and this is stupid in keys with 0 keys at this point. And we were a little bit of, I don't follow Ralen right now too much, but with the 2 deaths I went for village then instead. Yeah, but it's always not that great if a teammate dies and you try to have a little bit more silence and don't want to distract them too much. And it's like, you can do this run. It doesn't matter. Just try again. That's fine. That's totally fine. And you as a player still know that, oh, I'm letting my team down. So yeah, those are the worst moments in co-op games, I think.
And of course, 3rd try, I get it hitless, and I think, just why?
It was a point of pride at that point for you to get that fight done.
Yeah. I mean, we knew by that point that it was a crystal. Like, I want to say Tato got the last pendant information, so it was basically my GTXs at that point. And, yeah. It is a check.
Yep.
Never know. And I know I could do that fight.
Like I said, it's a point of pride. It's like, I can clear this. I've got Fire Rod. I've got half magic. I've got a sword. This is easy. And then you die a couple times. You're like, I am not leaving.
Yeah, the pressure's on.
But yeah,
I'll take
this
credit
is.
for dying to dead rocks on the mountain. So
You were getting bullied by
Oh.
those cabbages and dead rocks on East Death Mountain. That was rough.
We definitely lived up to our name there.
Yeah, I had a rough time. I just wanted to get 1 bomb after the sword on the uncle, just for play South Shore, and I was like, oh yeah, the guards have bombs, so the bomb pack later on. And then I wanted to farm those snakes later in the dark maze, and it's like, yeah, of course they are totally bullying me right now. So wow, it took a death there and just went back in. At least I got the bomb, but yeah, it's like. Normal you won't die there, but today it's like we all took our chances.
Yeah. Now, I will say this is the end of Duality Week for both your teams. Did you have fun with Duality? I'm guessing, Huhnerhorde, you guys might have had a little more experience with this mode. I don't know if you had done the tournament that this was part of.
Yeah, we played
2 actually.
Okay, 2
Yeah.
tournaments, yeah. So,
And I was, in fact, part of both. Yeah.
cool.
I knew the mode
I
itself.
can't remember.
Like,
I used those co-op modes just to
I mean-
flame up my co-op teammate. With Rahn, I was pretty generous today. I didn't trash talk too much. But with Schulzer yesterday, it was on a totally different side of the coin. But just playing those to have fun. So experience, yeah, but not that much.
I think this is one of the best co-op modes of the League tournament this year so far. So
Yeah.
this
Absolutely
duality was really good.
fun.
So
Like,
Maybe a little bit too quick, but I guess that's fine. We don't need
Well,
long modes all
we
the time.
we don't need another 2-hour co-op.
Yeah,
Previous.
absolutely,
So-
absolutely. That's it's like, yeah.
This is a nice
This is
change of
just
pace.
much preferred.
Yeah, that was the plan. We make you do 80 KDB at the start of the season, long and difficult. Then boss hunt and duality. We're lulling you into like a sense of security and calmness.
Yeah, next week is 2 Ice Sword Hunt, right? I think something like that was. Co-op 2
Yeah.
Ice Sword Hunt. I would totally enjoy this.
Yeah. So tomorrow we do start in Flukies week for the league. So
close one.
early mobility, but another key sanity mode. How's scheduling going for the Influkies coming?
We don't even know who's playing from our team, I guess. So
Probably depends a bit on scheduling, because
Yeah,
if we have to play weekends, then probably shows us out. If I read that.
I think we are the team you don't want to play against because we totally don't know anything about our schedule for the next week, and it'd be like, oh, maybe then and then and then. So I'm really sorry for all opponents this year. I don't know why, but we are so slow in scheduling.
Also still have to schedule with another tournament, so that always makes things interesting, to say the least.
Just lose other tournaments, you don't have to schedule anymore.
That's
my
the
philosophy.
problem if the opponents making mistakes and I cannot lose.
Yeah, just taking a look, I do see for the Huhnerhorde, you guys are pulling the Boing Boing Boingers, and then for Deadrock, you like a Byrnacane, it is Motabashin for this week, so...
I'm just glad I get to take a break, not playing flukies, and I can just go back to playing doors. That's what I like to do.
Oh yeah, the long modes again. That's great.
But yeah, really appreciate you guys stopping in to chat a little bit before we close up. Anything else before I send us on our way?
Thank you so much for the solo show and commentating this one. I didn't know about that you used also the tracker, so I think I got the overlay with the map on this scene. I could have turned this off, but I'm sorry. I just went in the restream and I was like, oh.
I will say, everybody loves your tracker. Like, the hand-drawn tracker is just always a joy, and I love getting to see it.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
At least a few people did say during the race they appreciated yours.
Even with the map overview, then this is fine.
Yeah,
I pop in sometimes just to see what the tracker looks like nowadays. But thanks for the restream. Thanks, GG's everyone. Really appreciate it. And on to Influkeys.
Yeah, best of luck for the rest of the league. And
absolutely. Feel free to stop by and teach me more German words anytime.
Another nice word, another nice word. So we could do this right here. I guess they can't understand us anyway in SpeedGaming internationally. So I can just say something totally weird, and everyone is like, "Oh, was this a curse? Did he swear on stream right now? I don't know." Steuererklärung. And I just said it here, so I'm sorry for this. I hope that's fine, and try and look with your Google AI what this means.
yeah,
but I really appreciated those matches. I really great playing you guys.
Awesome. So yeah, we are going to close up here. I will say we do have some races still going on tonight. There is a race currently on SpeedGaming. It's comless, so it's going to be a chill experience. We've got Relkin and Will WC facing off with W Garrison and Norris Kamadi. That will immediately be followed by another race on SpeedGaming. That'll be my team, JKLL versus the Egg as backup dancers. KZ and myself versus Breadcoon and Amerith. If you did watch the race last night between those four runners, you might be saying, why is there another race between those two teams? Well, we offered a re-race because of the hardware failures on Bread's side, so there will be a third game of sorts today. So do check those two out on SpeedGaming. That looks to be it. I do see a race tonight at 7 unassigned between Fendrana and the Boingers, but as I said, no restream scheduled there. So just a few races left today, and then we will be into Influkeys week for starting tomorrow. So with that, have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.